What's up, everybody? We are back with our fan panel match reaction. As you can see, the handsome factor has increased dramatically since I was last on screen. I've been joined by Mr. Paddy Murphy, the second best Stonage in the Stonage family, Mr. Chris Stonage, and of course, a good friend, Colin McFarlane from Nothing But Reds. Loads to get through in that, gentlemen. We've got red cards, missed opportunities. But I want to start off by saying again, fair play to Inter, who came tonight, played well, made it very difficult. That goal, Kyle, from Lautaro Martinez, I mean, no one's saving that. Just a great strike.
World-class goal. Bending away from Alisson, no one's saving it. And honestly, you got to give him credit for that goal. But good God, that was a stressful 5 minutes between the goal and then the immediate red card. It was just insane. Everything happened, I feel like, in that entire game in that 5 minutes. But it doesn't matter. Even though we lost on the night, we're through. We'll see you in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, just about there. Again, I want to point out we are being brought to you tonight with thanks to our friends at manscaped.com. You can get 20% off and free shipping store-wide with a discount code WFM20, and we will be giving away a Performance Package 4.0 over on Twitch tomorrow night during the Real Madrid PSG game. Right, Chris, I want to come to you, mate, and I want to go right back to the start. 11. Happy with the starting 11? Happy with the team Klopp put out? Did you understand the changes?
Yeah, 100%. I probably would have gone a bit weaker if it was me, personally, but it's probably turned out to be vindicated by the fact that he's just, we squeaked our way through. I probably might have played Gomez. I might have played Milner, but we went strong and it proven out to be right.
Fucking, did you want to fucking lose, or what,
Paddy, I'll be honest, I don't even listen to Chris half the time, mate. It's just platitude. I just bring him in, bit of eye candy for the wives at home. You know what I mean? It's just why he's here. We know he's the second best Stonage. We know that at this point.
Mate, honestly, I'll take second because in my family, there's some elite Stonages. Robbie's definitely not first. No chance.
Oh, Robbie was first, wasn't he?
No way. He can't be first. My mother trumps him every time.
Fair. I mean, at least what Paddy tells me anyway, but we move on.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Paddy Murphy, I mean, go back to the 11 for you, mate. Could you understand the changes? I was surprised to see Jones, maybe not Elliott or Hendo, but, a lot of minutes played.
Listen, I'm all for rotation. It's not our strongest 11 that he put out, because I believe and will keep believing that our strongest 11 contains a certain Colombian. But listen, it's all about whataboutery in hindsight. Had we gone and stormed tonight, we'd all be buzzing. People are going to freak out. The job's done. If you look at the stats, Liverpool, that's a game Liverpool should have won comfortably. We just didn't take our chances. We had a significant, I think we had a 1.83 XG. Inter had a 0.3 XG. We had 12 shots. They had about 6. So, we should have won that game. We were through. I really don't care. There will be people doing inquests into it saying, I mean, we can talk about who didn't play well by all means, but there's certainly no sadness here because Liverpool are through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That is the headline that I'm chasing right now.
Yes, preach, my man, preach. Look, Kyle, I feel like it's only fair that we talk about the fact that we lose and Stonage shaved his moustache. Coincidence?
I trimmed it, actually. I didn't shave it. I think that is actually what has happened. I didn't even think of that, Craig, to be honest. That's amazing.
Well, I did, mate. You've ruined a lot of children's lives out there tonight, mate. A lot of kids going to Anfield for the first game, and Stonage has ruined it for them.
I can see Paddy's face working, you see.
You know what else happened, though? Because I usually wear my away kit, and we haven't lost when I've worn my away kit during the match. Didn't wear it today because I was like, I'm not going to be superstitious. That's not even real. It's real. Because I didn't wear it, and look what happened. So it doesn't matter, though. Aggregate.
I think what Paddy said is right, though. We can dissect this to bits if we want, but ultimately, if we're going to lose a game, Paddy, tonight was probably the best one to lose in the score we lost it in, because I'd rather lose that and go through than lose 3 points in the league.
Even when Liverpool lose, they win. We are colossal. Listen, it's a double-edged sword because, we didn't play unbelievably, but which is all people will be annoyed about. But on the other hand, we didn't play unbelievably and we still go through. It's a sign of a world-class team, a team that will win no matter what. And I feel if we needed to win that game tonight, we would have went out and won it. I feel like Klopp and the team were happy enough to sit back at times. Salah is very unlucky not to score a couple. Let's be fair. Luis Diaz again with a no look. I don't know how that doesn't go in. Fair play to Arturo Vidal. I thought he was certainly Inter's man of the match, if not the man of the match. He was phenomenal. and certainly a better outing for him at Anfield than the last time he was here. But yeah, there was a couple of bad performances, in the first half, the attack was not cohesive at all. It didn't get going whatsoever. It was dire to watch. And, I was doing my usual obligatory calling for Luis Diaz tweet. And when you see Diaz come on, even though it was only for a couple of flashes, he's just excellent, isn't he? He just offers that something different. And yeah. But listen, quarterfinals, let's hope we avoid Bayern and City. And other than that, I'm happy.
How do we not score, Chris? How do we not score? Hit the post the bar on the post twice.
I know, it's pretty crazy. That's why I'm not really too riled up. Like, I think, I know I'm going to sound very football hipstery now, but we have to remove the goal aspect of a performance. And because I think a lot of people look at a performance based on how many goals we score or look at the goals. Like, we could have 7 shots on target and score all 7, but, I think a better performance is if we create a lot more. And I think we created like a lot today. We hit the post twice. We were unlucky. We have to take the performance in hand and not by with the result. And I thought we played well, personally. Maybe not in the first 20, 30 minutes, but apart from that, game management was on form and it was brilliant. I'm happy.
Were you
I wouldn't say it was brilliant
Liverpool tonight, mate, or were you watching Bayern Munich?
Look,
yeah.
if we go and score two goals, the 2 that we hit the post, everyone's singing happy clappy.
It wasn't brilliant, though. It was not a brilliant game. It was a horrible game.
It was brilliant game management. I'm sorry. You tell me
that I agree with. I do agree with the game management.
Yeah.
Once they went down to 10, last 15, I do think we seen that out rather well, made the pitch big. I agree with that.
I think as well, if we really needed to score, we would have done. But the fact we just didn't. We just didn't play.
They hit the post for the laugh twice. They didn't want
yeah, but no, I'm talking in the last 15 minutes. We didn't play many sort of final balls or like extravagant deliveries into the box.
That's because we couldn't.
We know we suck against 10 men. We suck against 10 men.
No,
we're worse
we
against 10 men than we
didn't
are.
need to score. We didn't need to score. It was good.
Would have helped though, Chris. Might have taken the nerves off the last. I mean, Inter shot themselves in the foot, Kyle. They score a great goal. They're obviously all hyped up. And Alexis Sanchez was probably fortunate to be on the pitch anyway after the studs to the knee of Thiago in the first half.
Yeah, how anyone can argue that's not a second yellow and a red is beyond me. I think they were just, you're right, hyped up, shot themselves in the foot. But going back to what Chris was saying, I understand what he's trying to say. Like, if those 2 shots go in, no one's really talking about a bad performance, obviously, because we won. But that's just the fan base. It goes the same exact for not only team play, but players. For example, Ox, if he hits the post, he didn't score, he has a bad game. But when he has a okay game, but he ends up getting the ball in the back of the net, Ox is the greatest midfielder. He needs more playing time. So I get where he's coming from. But at the same time, with aggregate, I definitely agree that we were happy to sit back and just pass the ball around, sideways, backwards. We were fine doing that for the last 20 minutes of the game, really. I mean, we did create some chances once Luis Diaz came on, so I see that with Patty. Luis Diaz is probably the most prolific
Don't be
player
feeding
we have
his ego, Kyle. Don't be feeding his ego.
No,
True.
dude, Luis, I'm feeding it. Luis Diaz is prolific. He's just dancing. He's dancing on you. Bastoni didn't know what to do with him.
It was, wasn't it? Damian just was sold.
We talk about not overreacting, Paddy, and not over dissecting it. We haven't been clinical enough for my liking in attack recently, and I think that just carried on tonight. We've won games. We played better than we did tonight, but our attack, it's just not being clicking enough for me. If I'm being really blunt about it,
I'm in a peril situation right now. I'm on the verge of being accused of an agenda, but I have to say once again, the man from Senegal stank up the place, and so did Salah.
From Egypt stank up the place.
Both.
And the man from
you know what? I'm not saying it. And like the man from Portugal,
yes, the man from Portugal as well.
Give Salah a holiday. Just give the man a week off. Just let him recharge his batteries, go away for a week. He's played so much football.
Fair.
But again, I'm not going to. Salah hit the post twice. He scores both of them. We're waxing lyrical. But his off the ball stuff, and man, he's really pissing me off. He's really frustrating me. Apart from one good ball for Salah, where Salah hits the post, he's fumbling over the ball. He's not placing his passes. And it's just when you compare that with the likes of Luis Diaz, it's a different level right now.
I mean, look, I can't argue, and I don't want to argue with you over the Diaz stuff, because you're right. Diaz right now is definitely in our best three forwards. No argument. Jota wasn't great tonight. Look, the Salah not being great part, Chris, I wanted to just come back to that for a second because no coincidence we've played against the back three twice recently, Chelsea and then Inter Milan home and away. What is it about that system that seems to shut out Mo?
I mean, there's an extra man.
Can,
That might help. Go on, mate.
I have to just interject. Just look at after I said that, look at the disparity in the comments. Mane was our best forward. Mane was awful. Mane was one of our best players today. Mane had a shocker. Mane was really poor. It's crazy how it's so divided.
I got accused of having an agenda against Salah in the watch-along because I dare say he should have scored that second opportunity. So, look, one of the joys of football is that we all see it in different ways. You know, none of us are on here saying that all our opinions are right. That's why we have a forum here. We try and figure it out between us. And, of course, the chat are a part of that as well. But back to Chris's fantastic punditry here about the extra man. Let's just get back to that for a second there, Chris.
Well, I don't know if it's too obvious or blatantly obvious, but Mo has a lot of space on the right hand side because he has to take on the left-sided defender and the other one. So yeah, having another defender there certainly doesn't help, especially when Inter Milan's wing backs weren't exactly bombing forward. They were very, very, very focused on him, and I think there was more space for Mane in that position. But I think maybe feeding into Paddy's agenda a little bit. They let Mane have a little bit more space.
I mean, should we Kyle, maybe be looking to spring a little surprise with Mohamed Salah, maybe shift him across if we're playing against the back three, so teams don't know exactly what the plan is or the schedule is for keeping Mo out of the games by marking him out with that back three.
So we actually saw that in a 2-minute sequence in the second half where he actually filtered over to the far side and he was actually in space. So yes, I understand what you're saying. And if we're just going to nitpick everyone's play, how about Robertson? Robertson had a wide open 2-on-1 with Salah at the far post and he passes it to Bastoni. And
yeah, that drove me mad.
Like, we can nitpick everyone all day. All I'm saying is, Salah's going to have off games because teams learn how to game plan. Okay, it's not like we're the only team that game plans. Team game plan against Salah, and it worked. But at the same time, you still saw some finesse. Like, there were still instances where he was getting around players. He was probably better in the second half. But in the first half, he still had some instances. I disagree with Patty saying Mane was our worst attacker. If I did have to pick a worst attacker, I'd probably say it was Jota, to be honest with you. But that's neither here nor there. Not an overall great performance. I thought Thiago was actually pretty decent. Other than that, no, it's just 1-0 Inter. We move on. Doesn't matter.
And I think as well, sorry to interject, in terms of like people saying that Craig or whoever has an agenda or something, just because he criticizes or someone does it in a game, don't tell me that you don't go to the ground and shout at a player, whoever it is, if they misplace a pass or something. Like the thing is that us and people got it on screen. It doesn't mean that we hate these people. We love these footballers. Like, we adore these players. Like, they brought us more success than anything. So just a moment of frustration, like that happens. You're a fan at the end of the day.
I couldn't agree more. With everything you just said.
I actually agree with Kyle on the Jota shout as our worst forward, but I am concerned, Paddy, by Mohamed Salah's, I don't want to say inactiveness, because you're right. We take one of those two chances tonight. I'm probably not even speaking about Mohamed Salah in any way of a negative shape or form, but he didn't, mate. And I can't change that for him. First one was very difficult, Paddy. He had two men on the line, very small margin for error to work with, but he should have buried the second one.
No, listen, I agree with what Kyle's saying. Like, there is teams strictly at times have a game plan to mark Salah out of the game because he's that dangerous and it becomes very difficult for him. I thought the West Ham game was where I thought he was extremely poor. This game tonight, I thought he was okay. The first one, difficult chance. Second one, on his bad foot as well. It's a small margin of error. I'm not going to say he should have scored it because he scores so many he shouldn't score. So it's like these things even out. I'm not losing sleep. Now, don't get me wrong. If we were knocked out tonight, it'd be a different analysis. We'd be here all foaming at the mouth. But I feel like we have to just look at it objectively for what it is, and it's a night of Liverpool going into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You know, the man again, yeah, and what Chris said, just because we're unhappy with a player doesn't mean it's an agenda. I still think Mane he's just looked so clumsy at times on the ball, and I can't just look past it because of one good pass. I don't know. His overall game is just not at the races right now, and especially when you have a man like Luis Diaz on the bench, I can't help but wish he was in constantly. So it's going to be intriguing to see where we go from here in the next games, who starts. You know, I feel like tonight was a case of Luis Diaz being rested to start him for Brighton, hopefully. He's just, I don't know if it's his technique to do the no-look thing every time, but I wish he would look sometimes just to bury it, because I love the guy, but I want him to start adding to that G and A. But yeah, I'm not going to go after Salah too hard. Yeah, he's a lot of good karma in the bank. The reason I go for Sadio a little bit more is because he is prone to a stinker, and it kind of gets more frustrating.
That and the agenda.
Stop. Do you know what?
So,
it's not even a Mane. It's not even an anti-Mane agenda. It's probably just a pro Diaz agenda. Do you know? I got to back my hermano.
I don't know about Sadio being crap recently. He scored through the centre twice recently. Tonight, I agree. None of the forwards were great, but I think now I don't want to see him on the left anymore. I want to see him as a false nine, or I want to see him through the centre, because Diaz, I think we'd all agree, is probably our best option right now in form on the left.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
I know. I do agree with Kyle as well. Jota was poor today as well. I just didn't mention him because I have other agendas to deal with first. You know what I mean? But listen, you know, again, we didn't play too well tonight. Things didn't click, but we still go through. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not angry. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. And again, as you said earlier, a little bit earlier on, Craig, if you're going to lose a game, it's a game you can literally lose without matter, like where the literal loss means nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's hope this doesn't happen in the league. But Inter, they were very spirited. They were very good defensively. They haven't had the best time in their away from home in their own league and cups this year, but they put up a good fight tonight. And again, shout out to Arturo Vidal, a fellow TikToker. What a man.
I want to ask real quick, because I didn't get to hear what happened. What happened in the cup? Was a medical thing?
That was apparently, it was a cardiac thing. My mate was sat quite close to it.
Ooh.
Hopefully, some good news is shared on that. Then, you know,
I'll
whomever that
message him
person
now.
was, I hope that they're okay. Obviously, worrying signs. We're seeing this. I mean, I don't know, Kyle. Are we seeing it more and more in football, or is it just that it's now the game stopping because of it? I wonder. I mean, there are all types. So I'm not looking for a medical reason why, but it seems to be happening a bit more in football these days.
The stops, or like the fans having that issue? Stops and play? Or
I suppose maybe we're just more aware of it because the game's stopping.
I think that's what it is, Craig.
Yeah.
I think because of the Eriksen thing, it gets dealt with straight away now. I mean, people will have their agendas about why it could be, but I think it's just we're more aware of it since the Eriksen thing, where the play actually stops, where before I feel like it would have been dealt with in-house. But listen, the way it's getting dealt with now is the best way to do it.
Safety of everybody involved is paramount. That's priority numero uno.
It's done really quickly, apparently, as well. So hopefully the person involved is fit and healthy, and we'll hear about that later.
Yeah, it's just like with anything else. Like, you have new protocols in place. Even, you know, like take COVID, for example. You know, there were new protocols in place because we hadn't dealt with it before. Now, like Patty said, with the Eriksen situation, there's new protocols in place for the health staff, especially because these games are so packed to the brim. I mean, it's not just an easy, like, get them in or get to the person, get them out. So play has to be stopped. Attention has to be brought to them. And then if it was in the cop, I didn't exactly see how it was, but I did see people moving around in the Kenny Dalglish stand. So I don't know if it was over there or not.
I think it was right-hand side of the cop, halfway up, from what I could kind of gather from the
especially
yellow.
Especially in the cop, you know. So
I want to ask everybody this question from Jason. He wants to know: do we agree that Salah should be rested to recharge his batteries for the Brighton game? Not because of his form or anything like that. You know, purely to maybe what we spoke about earlier on, just the amount of minutes. You know, AFCON for him was that bit longer than Sadio, obviously, with all the extra time that he had to play and the penalty shootout. So it will be a big call. It would be a big call, but what are we saying, lads? Is there any shout for resting him? And by resting him, I would say don't put him in the squad if you're resting him. No good putting him on the bench and dragging him down to Brighton. If you want to rest him,
Mo Salah will be fuming if that happened. He would be absolutely fuming.
I think
I
just
don't
one time Klopp didn't start Salah and then he was available. If Salah's available, 99.99% of the time he starts and plays the whole game.
We've seen before what a rundown, overplayed Mohamed Salah, who was rushed back from injury, came back to cost him. I'm only concerned about Mo here. Mo's amazing. We're all agreeing on that. But I think Paddy made a good point that in an ideal world, maybe Mo and Sadio might have had a week to rest. But they're both being the ultimate pros that they are. Want to come straight back in and play.
Let's have look at the fixtures.
I think people are bringing up some good points in here that he gets rested with the cup games. That's a decent point, but what is that like? A couple extra days?
I don't think we can afford to rest him anymore. People don't underestimate Nottingham Forest. I'd be on full strength against them, give or take.
Literally the only game really that is restable and rotatable is Nottingham Forest. And that's going to be a difficult game.
This is crunch time, dude. You can't rest your best player in crunch time. We're getting down to the tail end of the season. That's just me, though. Salah is a professional. He knows if he needs a rest, but he's also not the type of player to ask for a rest. No one's going to ask for a rest.
There's also the medical science side to talk about here, about how much overplaying leads to an injury. Yeah. Certainly with no medical background, that's not an area I can speak of, but it's a worry. And we speak about player welfare a lot. Sometimes the players need to be rescued from themselves, Chris.
Well, yeah, I think with the medical team won't let him play unless he absolutely unless there's, I don't know, if maybe if it was a Champions League final, they might push him through. But if there was a serious problem there, I think they would encourage Jurgen to rest him. Maybe not on the protocols, but it's a really tough and difficult one. And as you say, I think maybe they need to be saved from themselves. Who knows? But the only people who know that situation are the people internally.
I want to move to Curtis Jones for a second and just speak about his performance again tonight. Trusted by Klopp in a very big game. Tough to gauge because I think he did a lot of stuff well, Curtis Jones, but a big occasion for him. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on his performance.
Once again, Klopp completely made me look like an idiot with my predicted starting lineup. Didn't have Jones anywhere near the starting lineup. Jones starts. I thought he played actually pretty decent, to be honest with you. I didn't have anything against Jones. He was leading the press a bunch. I thought he was working hard. He didn't do anything exceptional, but neither did anyone else, really. It just was one of those games. I think it's just good for Jones to get playing time in the Champions League. He goes through these periods where he'll play back-to-back games and then he won't play for 3 weeks, whether it's an injury or someone else gets in the side. Harvey Elliott, same way. Harvey Elliott available, but he's not playing. So Jones, Elliott getting rotated. I also want to just touch on what Chris was talking about with, monitoring the players and the protocols and everything. These players have built-in apps, where every day they wake up, they have to say, how'd you sleep? What do you feel like? All this stuff, what time did you get up? What'd you have? So they are completely involved in these players' lives. They know pretty much everything they're doing. If they're working out after the fact, hell, they have heart monitors on them during the game. They know everything that's going on. So trust me, they're aware if Salah needs a rest or not. They're talking to these players every single day. So I trust the staff. Injuries, there's some new science out there in injury prevention. You just can't prevent injuries. You can do things to make you less injury prone, but you just can't prevent them. If injuries happen. Maybe you can attribute it to overtraining, but 2 days rest, 3 days rest for a professional athlete is plenty of time for rest to play another game. But yeah.
Well, on this, actually, on that, Paddy, thankfully we do have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we play Saturday. So a bit longer, an extra day there in the break this time.
Yeah, and shout out to Martin who told me to go watch Nico Williams' volley there for Fulham tonight. Give it a look. Absolute banger.
Nearly on last week as well.
Is he balling out over there?
That's a shit. Martin was like, have you guys seen it? And then I read his comment, and he seen my reaction, and then he knew I did. But yeah, absolute cracker. But yeah, it's good to get a few days break now. And Brighton are very good, well-oiled system, a well-oiled side. Not going to be an easy game at all at the Amex. Or no, it's not called that. It's called the American Express. Oh, well, that is the Amex. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, going to be a tough game. But, 3 days rest is good. Hopefully we can go full strength now on Saturday. I am in Eastbourne, and I was hoping I could kind of make my way over to Brighton, but it's too tight with my flight, unfortunately.
Do you know what? I won't lie, Paddy. I didn't cop the Amex American Express thing till last year. And I don't mean for the stadium. I just mean in general. I didn't realize they were the same thing. That's how idiotic I am. It's one of those, like Banoffee. I didn't realize that got its name, Banana and Tough.
I didn't either.
Told you guys this
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. This is brand new information.
I think I told you guys this before to make you feel better, but IHOP, I didn't know IHOP stood for International House of Pancakes until
I knew that. We don't even have them in Ireland.
Yeah, I mean that could be because I'm a savage who loves pancakes, but
they're good. They're good pancakes though. Good pancakes.
Chris, for you on Curtis Jones,
sound. He was just normal. Curtis Jones' performance, as Kyle said, led the press well. He's getting better. He's getting fitter, and he's a really, really good option to have, especially in a game like that where you need to retain the ball.
If we were to pick a Liverpool man of the match, gents, if you had to single out somebody from a Liverpool side, who would you give the nod to? Go to Kyle first, if that's okay.
Yeah, Thiago is the first name that comes to mind, mainly because this guy in the chat was just trolling Patty and Craig about how y'all don't think Thiago's good enough. Thiago's incredible. I would pick Thiago personally. Yeah, no, he's trolling. He was trying to get y'all's attention, I'm sure.
Man, I worship the ground that he walked on. I make excuse after excuse from him. If he plays 30 games,
just like this guy. What is this guy smoking? I'd go with Thiago.
Paddy, yourself?
Matip or Verge for me. One of them. I probably Verge just because it's Verge, isn't it?
I'll chip in before we go to Stonage. I'd go Trent, I thought Trent did well today against against Perisic. He was a nightmare. Very, very difficult opponent for him.
I'd tend to. I'd probably just edge towards Verge. But just because Thiago didn't play the 90 minutes, if he had done, he would have definitely been man of the match. Thought Hendo did really well when he came on as well.
Yeah.
Did the subs impact the game in a positive way for us, gents? Do we feel tonight?
Let's ask Patty.
Yeah.
Pushing aside your Diaz love. Which, you're right, he did have a good impact, but I was more kind of, I guess, focused on the midfield changes. Sorry, I should have.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. No. I think Cato and Hendo coming on, especially Hendo, gave it the calm influence it needed. Kind of shored things up. And we didn't concede while they were on. So I think they did. And obviously Diaz, from an attacking sense, in the little flashes he showed yet again, he's just a joke. I don't know how he doesn't score. I think his shot was too telegraphed. I think Vidal just knew how to put the foot in, but again, it was a great block.
Vidal, by the way, that was
it was a great block.
Blame Diaz
could have easily cannoned in off the underside of the bar, by the way. So again, on another night, Liverpool score 4 or 5, and we're sitting here all tossing each other off. So I'm happy.
Exactly. It's like people in the chat saying like they were all terrible. Like, no, they weren't all terrible. Like, watch the match. Come on.
And Inter played well. Got to get that across as well. Inzaghi set them up. I wondered how they'd approach it. I wonder would they go a bit gung-ho from the start, or would they take the Klopp against Barcelona approach and hope to get that one and then build from there. But at half time, I didn't think, Chris, it was going to become as nerve-wracking as it was for the last 50. Maybe it was just me because of the score. I mean, I'm not saying Inter were bombarding us, but even down to 10 men, I said a little bit of worry. I won't lie.
Well, it's natural to have nerves and to worry about it. And it's a Champions League knockout tie at the end of the day against a very good Inter side. Yes, we didn't expect it to get as nervy as it did. But it would be unnatural to just be like to not be worried during a game. I was shouting and screaming at my screen. But as soon as the whistle goes, we're through. Happy days.
Yeah, any preferences, gents, for the quarterfinal? Anybody you'd like to get or avoid? Obviously we don't know all of the potential opponents yet. We know Bayern Munich sailed through. I mean, was that Lewandowski hat-trick the quickest, by the way?
10 minutes it was in
the Champions League.
10 minutes and 22 seconds. I don't know if it's the quickest ever.
Because Sadio Mane has the quickest in the Premier League.
I know that kills me that he nicked that off Robbie Fowler. It breaks my heart.
It's insane.
He wasn't
be
a
signed
Liverpool
him,
player at the time, obviously.
I'm taking the one of Benfica, Ajax, Villarreal, Juventus.
I want Man United.
So do I.
I'm not going to lie. I'd absolutely love Man
I
United.
don't want the Letty if they go through.
Give me
I don't want to sit through two ties against Atleti again. I feel like I've not enough things to smash in the house.
Man United would be hilarious, to be
There are
fair.
two teams I hate playing, Napoli and Atletico Madrid. Hate playing both of those teams.
I hope Benfica go through and we get them. That is the ideal one for me.
We lost
mind
them,
Ajax
though,
either, you
in
know.
2006.
No, I would mind Ajax. I think Ajax are a very decent side. They'd be, wouldn't be too harsh, but no, Benfica would be quality.
Who do we think?
Wow, thank you, Cosmic. That's a great. Thank you for that comment. Wow,
Yeah, no, yeah.
fucking
Jesus.
hell.
Okay, yeah, I just seen that one there. We'll move on.
Right.
What do we think tomorrow? PSG travel to Madrid. Kyle 1-0 down, obviously after that Mbappe goal. Who do you think squeaks through on that one?
Dude, I hate both teams. I think I said this before. I hate them so much. I don't know. Maybe Madrid go through. I don't know. Maybe Madrid. I think PSG are just not built for it, dude. They're all talent, no chemistry. I think Madrid go through.
Quote here from Jurgen Klopp, by the way. James Pearce just tweeted, Klopp, the art of football is to lose the right games. I still hate it, but there's any game we could afford to lose, then it was tonight. I'm not over the moon, but I'm happy we went through. I think kind of sums up.
Genius. He's
Kind of sums up
genius.
how we all feel.
Oh God.
Pretty much like that.
What about you, Chris? Real Madrid or PSG? Who's gone through?
Because Mbappe's injured, I think Real Madrid squeak it. I'm pretty confident with that now. I do think Real Madrid have got a better pedigree anyway. Vinicius is going to tear them apart, but yeah, Mbappe's injury I think sends Real Madrid through.
Mr. Murphy, for yourself?
No, I think PSG. I think all well and good having Mbappe out, but they have the greatest player of all time. So I think Messi will have a bit of a masterclass and they'll go through.
I know.
Oh, I didn't
Gini
know they had
Wijnaldum
Luis
is in
Diaz.
the midfield, yeah.
Interesting.
And also,
Wijnaldum.
this might not be a factor, but it might be a factor. Since the first leg, obviously, we've had the news that the final will be in Paris. So there's an added incentive,
Yeah.
to try go all the way there for PSG. Yeah, I think it could go all the way tomorrow. I think that could go all the way to extra time, penalties. I think it could be a long night. And I will be doing a watch along of it on Twitch. So look, I'm going to let the lads go. I think the general consensus, gents, is job done. Don't overreact. Don't overread into it. We will be better moving forward. Fair?
Fair.
Absolutely.
Correct. And Klopp has it spot on, by the way.
Yes, he does. He does. Absolutely.
When doesn't he, to be fair?
Yeah. He's just a man with words. Great manager. Great manager.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Mr. Paddy Murphy, to Mr. Chris Stonage, to Mr. Colin McFarlane. Get yourselves over. Check out Nothing But Reds. Paddy, when are you back on the FIFA grind on Twitch?
Straight after this, my friend.
Boom. Get yourselves over, Mr. Paddy Murphy. Stonage, anything? I read your Shane Warne article. Well done.
Yeah.
Anything else in the works?
Bits and bats, mate, to be honest. I'm just grinding on with uni work, to be honest. It's a really busy time of the year, sadly. Nothing else going on.
I thank you all for your time. Thank you to you guys in the chat as well. Do drop a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button before you head off. And we will talk to you really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.